official good morning to our annual meeting of Council. I would like to welcome everyone, and in particular to make note of the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Senator Dr. Rommel Springer. Welcome to you. And of course, all members, invitees, and of course the internet audience, including members of the media. And as we are on live stream, I would like to really start by inviting the principal of the Cave Hill campus, Professor Udine Barito, to deliver her annual report to Council.
Chair Sir Paul Altman, Vice Chancellor Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Senator Dr. Rommel Springer, Parliamentary Secretary, Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, Government of Barbados, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, Mrs. Janet Phillips, other distinguished representatives of governments, fellow Principal Professor Dale Weber on Zoom, Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Alan Cobley will be joining us, Deputy Principal of the St. Augustine campus, representing the Principal, Professor Inda Ramnarayan, University Bursar, Mrs. Andrea McNeish, members of Council, especially student representatives, viewers over the web, good morning and welcome. Thank you. Chair, members of Council, on behalf of the Cave Hill campus, I congratulate all the women of and in the Caribbean on International Women's Day today. Whether we are priests, pilots, scholars, school teachers, cricketers, or soldiers, Caribbean women embroider the rich tapestry of our societies, and I honor them all. I should say I honor us all. Chair, once again, I am honored to present this year's report to members of Council on the work of the Cave Hill campus since we met a year ago today. It has been a productive and eventful year. I began my presentation in 2018 by stating that the Cave Hill campus is experiencing the first rays of the dawn of our visioning and strategic planning. I spoke of mapping our recovery and being determined to achieve our goals, even though we were navigating financial austerity, declining student enrollment, mounting government debt, aging plant and equipment, and an IT infrastructure on the cusp of obsolescence. We survived, my management team and I, because we placed the required and overdue capital upgrades on hold, concentrated on building a first-class quality environment by prudently deploying scarce resources to enhance the teaching and learning environment and improving services and programs for our students. Chair, this morning, I declare our prospects are looking up. And like our iconic blackbirds, the campus is ready to soar. We are now poised to experience the sunshine of our prudent management and careful navigation of austerity. For the past 4 years, I have reminded my colleagues and students that the UWI Cave Hill campus is greater than and will not be defined by the combination of challenges it had to confront and contain. And just like the iconic geographic symbols of the Caribbean, Bathsheba in Barbados, the Pitons in St. Lucia, and Granans Beach of Grenada, the UWI Cavell campus is an indelible feature of the social and economic fabric of Barbados and the Caribbean. In other words, Chair, it is affirmed by the 1989 CARICOM Granans Declaration. The UWI is and will be part of this region indefinitely. The Cavell campus is a permanent pillar of an excellent global university rooted in the Caribbean. Members of Council, the campus continues to be fully engaged with the implementation of the second year of the AAA strategic plan. We have continued to prioritize internationalization and the Smart Campus initiatives as the key vehicles to deliver objectives the campus has identified towards realizing the overarching goals of access, agility, and alignment. The campus is working towards the full digital transformation of the pedagogical strategies, services to our students and clients, management of our facilities and resources, and improved internal operating processes. Members, our activities satisfy what our Vice Chancellor has termed the RRR strategy. The activities enhance the university's reputation, build resilience of the campus, and earn revenue. This morning, I will review the work and achievements of the campus in the past year. I will share the major initiatives of the second year of the strategic plan, and I will indicate the way forward for the Cavell campus. Now, as I go to review the work and achievements of the Cavell campus, I want to again remind us that everything we do is grounded around our students because they are the bedrock of our mission. Our activities deepen student-centeredness, improve the learning and leisure environment, grow student enrollment, and augment our financial viability. Just before I get into the work, I just want to call attention to 4 areas. And the first is a change in government tuition policy. On May 25, 2018, a new Barbadian government was elected, and the Prime Minister, the Honorable Mia Amor Motley, affirmed her government's policy, and I quote, to restore free tertiary education at UWI for Barbadians. On June 24th, the Minister of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, the Honorable Santia Bradshaw, articulated the policy in Parliament. This reversed the earlier government policy introduced in 2014 of Barbadian students paying tuition fees while the government continued to maintain economic costs and provides tuition support for students from low-income families. This new policy, introduced in June last year, was officially proclaimed in June, and PS, by the first semester of the new academic year, the total student population at the Cavell campus was 5,856 students, a 12.8% increase on the numbers of the year previously of 5,196. The second area I want to call attention to is our ranking. The Cavell campus Vice Chancellor is exceptionally pleased that in 2018, the Times Higher Education Survey ranked the University of the West Indies as the premier higher educational institution in the Pan-Caribbean, and President of the Guild, Mr. Atong, in the top 5% in the world. We are pleased, but we are not surprised, because since its founding in 1948, the UWI has deployed its teaching, research, intellectual leadership, and public service in the continuous search for the improvement of life of CARICOM citizens, Caribbean countries and citizens. We congratulate the Vice Chancellor and his team for overseeing this process. Please congratulate the Vice Chancellor and his team for that. And third, we mounted a series of events to celebrate the UWI's 70th anniversary. Following our interfaith service on January 28, we dined sumptuously at an elegant fundraising gala dinner on April 28, made all the more memorable by the patronage of Her Excellency Governor General Dame Sandra Mason and the presence and generous philanthropy of former Governor General, His Excellency Sir Elliot Belgrave, and his wife, Lady Loretta Belgrave. The campus thanks the Elliot and Loretta Belgrave Foundation for their generous donation of Barbados $50,000. In October, we honored 70 of the region's most distinguished and our own alumni for building the human resources and social capital of Barbados and the region. In November, we mounted a one-day symposium entitled Taking the Region Forward, an Alumni Perspective. Throughout the year, the Planning Committee took the UWI into diverse districts across Barbados. They ensured continuous engagement and sharing of ideas on a range of themes, including the decriminalization of marijuana and the blue economy. In 2 weeks' time, the campus will welcome the second institutional accreditation team to complete the rigorous process of peer review and evaluation, which began with the appointment of the accreditation team, Dr. Janice Badnock, Mrs. Gail Hall, and Mrs. Deborah Dean. The entire campus community was involved in producing the self-study, which many of you have before you on the table. And while we are determined to address ongoing areas of improvement, the campus is pleased with the substantial achievements it has accomplished in the 6-year period. We anticipate a successful outcome to the visit. We come to our efforts to achieve access, agility, alignment, expanding access. Colleagues, the campus has worked to expand the medical sciences program to improve and deliver healthcare in Barbados regionally and internationally. As we know, the Faculty of Medical Sciences enjoys double accreditation status from the Caribbean Accreditation Authority on Medicine and Health Professions, CAMHP, and the National Committee on Foreign Medical Education and Accreditation of the United States Department of Education. In July, the campus hosted the Dean of the School of Medicine from the University of Ghana, Professor Margaret Larty, and Provost Professor Samuel Ofe. They visited the campus to view the facilities for the teaching of medicine, meet colleagues, and work on an articulation agreement for the program of study between the University of the West Indies Cayville campus and the University of Ghana. Republic Bank, which is also in Ghana, was invited by us to design a financial aid package so that Ghanaians wanting to study here can borrow. I am happy to report that that loan program is ready to go. In October, the campus hosted the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ebenezer Owusu, who, besides receiving an honorary degree, renewed an MOU with our Vice Chancellor between the University of Ghana and the UWI, thus confirming a clear framework for the collaboration in medicine and other areas. Members of Council, I am very pleased to inform you that the campus has received approval to offer a 3-year BSc Preclinical Sciences degree fully articulated with the final 3 years of clinical study of medicine at the University of Guyana. This is a very, very momentous development. This means that Ghanaians and other West African students can complete their preclinical medical training at the Kayville campus as fee-paying students, Mr. Clark, gain a UWI degree and satisfy the requirements for fully accredited preclinical medical training in Guyana. So they come here, do the preclinical, gain a degree, pay us while they're gaining it, and we welcome them with love and warmth and appreciation. And on their return, they can seamlessly integrate into the clinical programs at the University of Guyana. And that UE degree will provide them with direct entry. I want to thank the Dean of the Faculty, Dr. Peter Adams, the articulation team, and the colleagues in the faculties of medical sciences and the science and technology who worked collaboratively and collectively to create this program. Thank you. Chair, the faculty has also introduced 2 Masters of Sciences degree in nursing administration and nursing education. So along with the BSc that I just spoke about, the faculty has introduced 3 brand new programs. And we are currently coordinating with the PS, we are coordinating with the Queen Elizabeth Hospital to design short courses in specialized areas such as geriatric and diabetic nursing to develop greater competencies in nursing. And these will be on stream at the beginning of the academic year. And they will be designed in such a way that the nurses can take them as standalone, and if they return to do it for masters, they will get credit. And so we are responding to the healthcare needs. The work of the Confucius Institute remains central to our internationalization agenda and expanding access. The Institute has introduced an annual lecture series and is an integral unit of the campus. It is not an exotic component. I would like to welcome Minister of Education of Antigua and Barbuda, the Honorable Michael Brown. The Institute introduced an annual lecture series and has expanded its assistance to the Caribbean Examinations Council with the development of curricula for some certificates offered by CXC. The Confucius Institute has assisted with the development of the curriculum for the CCSLC, which is sometimes called the School Leaving Certificate, the CSEC, and the CAPE certification in Mandarin. Thus, CXC expects this to provide access for every school child between the ages of 11 to 18 in 18 Caribbean territories, and to follow these programs leading to certification in Chinese. The Institute will assist Caribbean ministries of education, not only in Barbados, but throughout the Caribbean, in having their students gain access to the CXC certification in Mandarin. And the Institute, of course, assisted by the Kayville campus, we are utilizing a 2-pronged approach. First, the CI worked with the Faculty of Humanities and Education to develop a minor in Chinese studies. And we got the full collaboration and cooperation of the faculty, and introduced at the beginning of, which was introduced at the beginning of this academic year. This minor can also be taken as a group of standalone courses, Dr. Springer, so that persons already possessing a degree can come back and take all the courses and have a minor in Chinese studies. Second, the campus is devising approaches to train regional teachers to teach Mandarin. On a visit to Chengdu in 2018, the campus held very fruitful discussions with the Vice President of the Beijing Language and Culture University, Professor Shang Baojun. It's almost like Beijing. The BLCU is China's largest university, specializing in the training of language teachers, not only of the Chinese language. Professor Shang and I discuss collaborations on programs in the training of trainers, faculty and student exchanges, and joint degree programs. Now, as you know, the School of Education at the Caville campus serves as the secretariat for the Eastern Caribbean Joint Board of Teacher Education. This is comprised of national colleges, ministries of education, the Caribbean Union of Teachers, and the Caville School of Education. The School of Education, under the leadership of the director, Professor Warrican, coordinates new programs, certify teachers, as well as issue UWI certificates. The Confucius Institute, working with the School of Education, will develop with the Beijing Language and Culture University a wide range of new training programs, including certificates in translation, creating another category of employment, official translators who can work at conferences and regional and international meetings. As the first and only official testing site in the Eastern Caribbean for certified proficiency in the Chinese language, as you can see there, the CI trained, administered tests to 142 students between 2016 and 2019, with a 90% success rate across both levels. 93 students sat the HSK, or Chinese Proficiency Test, which is targeted at the adult population or more university level students, a higher degree of proficiency. And the 49 sat the YCT test, which is the Young Chinese test, which is for primary and secondary school level. Chair, I want you to be clear that when I start to take the test, I will start with the YCT. As soon as I graduate beyond Ni Hao, which I understand is welcome. The Honorable Mia Amo Motley, Prime Minister of Barbados, stated that by 2030, the government intends that every Barbadian under 18 should be proficient in Mandarin. As the only HSK testing site in the Eastern Caribbean region, not only will the CI, the Confucius Institute at Caville, facilitate the teaching of Mandarin, but we will certify competency in the language. Again, Professor Warrican, director of the school, is working with the CI to place the HSK examination online. This will increase the pool of persons eligible for training in Mandarin, and of course, with a level 5 HSK certification, eligible persons can pursue a 3-month certificate or a 1-year certificate in the teaching of Mandarin. The school will deliver the pedagogical training, that's where their expertise lie, while this Confucius Institute will deliver the proficiency in Mandarin. The program advances the Smart Campus initiative, expands access, and will earn revenue for the campus. The CI continues to expand its teaching of Mandarin across the national educational sector. When you look at that table, you will see that between 2017 to 2018, 1,350 persons participated in Chinese classes. The CI teaches Mandarin at the Springer Memorial School, the Ellerslie School, the Charles F. Bloom Primary School, the St. Stephen's Primary, and offer an after-school program at the Combermere School called A Taste of China. A key initiative of the Confucius Institute is the introduction of a Chinese language and culture curriculum at the Barbados Institute for Management and Productivity. And here you see our deputy principal and our registrar with the executive director of BIMAP, Dr. Sonia Greenidge, signing the MOU. And again, so we have the outreach work and the alignment. And the Confucius Institute offered this training program at BIMAP September to December 2017 and 2018, and we're sure BIMAP will be back for 2019. And in doing this, we are assisting BIMAP in fulfilling its role in enabling business leaders to connect and expand relations with China. The Confucius Institute also continues teaching Chinese language and culture courses to students enrolled in the BSc in Software Engineering under the UE China Institute of Information Technology program. The first cohort of students, you see them there, they are 27 in all, including 9 from the Kayville campus. They have started the China component of their program. The other 18 are from the Mona campus. Chair, this degree program not only creates bicultural and bilingual Caribbean graduates, but it also offers the region highly specialized skills, highly specialized skilled graduates in the burgeoning field of mobile technology applications. This message is now for the viewers on the web. I urge Caribbean countries to send at least 4 citizens per country to study software engineering at the Kayville campus. I urge the young people out there, if you're listening, to come to the Kayville campus. We want you to be part of the AI revolution. Kayville's commitment to this program is part of our Smart Campus initiative and our determination to create new skills and expertise for a 21st century workforce. Chair, last December, I visited the students in their classrooms and in their dorm rooms at the Global Institute for Software Technology. And despite the cold weather, it was actually snowing on that day, I found that they were in good spirits, in well-appointed teaching and living facilities. And Vice Chancellor, they asked me to thank you and everyone at the university to give you all their sincere appreciation for this once-in-a-lifetime experience. The Kayville law students, Dean Berry, as you know, won the 2nd International Law Moot Competition held at the China University of Political Science and Law in Beijing in June 2018. The UE team of Jeriah Rock and Tassa O'Keefe debated their Chinese counterparts and emerged the overall winners of the competition, in which they were assessed on their analytical and writing skills and oratory. The Kayville team won Best Memorial for the applicant and Best Advocate for the applicant. Now, members of council, the Chinese students come here, argue, and compete in fluent English. Our students go to China, argue, and compete in English. It's fluent, but we take it for granted. The Chinese professors and judges question them in fluent English. As a result, I have given my Chinese colleagues at the China University of Political Science and Law, I told them that in 10 years' time, a team from the Kayville campus will compete and be triumphant in fluent Mandarin. Chair, I want this recorded in the minutes of the meeting of Council of March 9, 2019. Please ensure that is it. Because so whoever is the principal of the Kayville campus in 2030 must deliver this. I am a woman and principal of that future principal's word. So I'm holding that person to this. The Center for English Language Learning continues to develop specialized training and welcome cohorts of students regionally and internationally, fee-paying students. In 2017, we hosted 20 Colombian tourism officials, including hotel managers, tour guides, travel agents. There were some called tourism police and administrators. The center also hosted Colombian students from the Hearts for Change project, which supports special improvement projects throughout Latin America. The center is currently hosting an intensive immersion program for Martinican students, some of whom were modeling at a function on Sunday night. They were preceded in January by interpreters from Lebanon and Europe, several European countries, so I just decided to put Europe in the interest of time. And this is the work of the Center for English Language Learning. Now, Chair, we have been doing a lot on Council to improve the teaching and learning environment for our students. And I'm very pleased to report on the work that we have been doing to improve the quality of the teaching, learning, and student development environment. In particular, our significant undertakings to ensure that the campus is a more inclusive space for students with disabilities while expanding access to an underserved community. We have adopted and implemented the UE policies on accommodations for students with disabilities. We have established a referral and record management system on students with disabilities. We have assigned in the Office of Student Services a dedicated disability coordinator whose responsibilities include ensuring transportation, acquisition of assistive software, and ordering specialized furniture, and very importantly, ensuring that the students who need it receive extended examination periods. We launched the first student association at any UWI campus called the UWI Cavell Association for Persons with Disabilities. And this year, thank you. This year they celebrated their second anniversary because this picture was taken at their first anniversary last year. It was launched in 2017. We have undertaken renovations and modifications of facilities across the campus to ensure access for mobility challenged students. And this included retrofitting bathrooms, installation of ramps, reflector strips, elevators and handrails, creating new workstations, providing priority parking for persons with disabilities, and modifying walkways and sidewalks. We cater to students who are visually, hearing, and mobility impaired, and we mount disability awareness and sensitization initiatives for students, faculty, and staff. And Chair, I want to commend Dr. Colin Depradine, Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology, who has been a consistent champion for students with disabilities. Thank you, Dr. Depradine. I turn to the area of curriculum renewal, and to say quality assurance and curriculum renewal are areas that receive our fullest attention. The campus undertakes rigorous assessments of our students through quality control examination, rigorous assessment of our faculty through pedagogical renewal and peer-reviewed assessment. That is a classroom of all university lecturers. The gentleman with his arm folded is a professor of mathematics. A rigorous assessment of our academic programs through routine, cyclical, externally led quality assurance reviews, and of our faculties, our resources and facilities through institutional accreditation reviews led by the Barbados Accreditation Council. So through all that rigorous process of accreditation and quality assurance, when we come to curriculum renewal, we undertake that to ensure that our programs are relevant and we reflect what the region requires, and our graduates have the knowledge and skills that would make them globally competitive. What are some of the new programs? The Faculty of Humanities and Education introduced a BEd in Early Childhood Care and Education, which proved to be the most popular new degree program in the faculty this year, Professor O'Callaghan Dean. And I have already mentioned the new BSc and MSc programs in the Faculty of Medical Sciences. The Faculty of Science and Technology introduced a BSc degree in Environmental Science, which provides knowledge and skills in accordance with regional priorities related to ocean health, climate change, natural hazards, and sustainable development. The faculty also offers a new MSc in Information Technology with specialization in mobile applications and a new postgraduate diploma in Information Technology. The postgraduate program includes a course in applied blockchain, and we will be offering it in partnership with Mr. Gabriel Abed. Under the leadership of the Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences, Dr. Justin Robinson, the Faculty of Social Sciences has introduced the Center for Professional Development and Lifelong Learning, and already it has entered into partnerships with the Canadian High Commission and Lumen Consulting to offer a range of short courses to strengthen entrepreneurial skills. Thank you, Dean. The Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, under the leadership of Dr. Sylvia Henry, continues to ensure our campus has one of the highest graduation rates for the postgraduate certificate in university teaching and learning. To date, CETL has graduated 149 trained faculty of an academic staff of 230 with with another 55 currently enrolled in CETL in the program. CETL also continues to offer annually the Research Supervisor Development course, first introduced here and at UWI in 2013. Chair, Vice Chancellor, this means 65% of the academic staff at the Caville campus has completed professional pedagogical renewal. Mr. Atong, you can tell anyone that your students experience lecturers and professors who have been professionally trained or becoming professionally trained. In the past year, CETL supported the Smart Campus initiative to foster the digital transformation of the University of the West Indies by introducing a web page and resources for students and faculty members experiencing challenges with a disability as they learn or teach. And CETL pulled together catering to the community with a disability with promoting the Smart Campus initiative and digital transformation. CETL also distributes weekly an online licensed resource called Monday Morning Mentor. And throughout the year, CETL conducts webinars and assists in academic advising. The Student Enrollment and Retention Unit, under the leadership of Mrs. Patricia Atherley and her dynamic team, continues to be one of the best innovations of the Caville campus. CERU is a one-stop shop for the student to facilitate the student experience from the expression of the very first interest to enrollment through to graduation. The unit incorporates international recruitment and is focusing on penetrating new markets as well as enhancing our presence in traditional ones. To assist our recruitment efforts in Ghana, for example, CERU has started a database of secondary schools in Ghana. Now, Ghana is a country of 28 million people with over 800 senior secondary schools. And CIRU has already compiled a list of senior secondary schools in Accra, 100 of them. In the past year, CIRU visited secondary schools, malls and supermarkets, and even engage in future recruiting over the Kadooment weekend. They are working to ensure that eligible persons, whether they are 2 or 22, know that the Cavell campus is the place to be to gain a UWI degree. CIRU works to improve every dimension of the student experience. They design and execute student recruitment exercises. They research best practices in application, admission procedures. They track offers of admission, and they arrange psychological and academic counseling for students required to withdraw. Their internationalization thrust is sustained and organized. They have ensured the campus's representation in regional and international recruitment fairs. Chair, just this month, CIRU is hosting 7 different regional and international groups of universities and high school students who are coming to visit the Cavell campus. One university is actually here, Christopher Newport University, and I met their officials yesterday. Coming are Baylor University, also of the USA, Southern Alberta Institute of Technology and Global Affairs, Canada, Murdoch University, Australia, Illinois State University, United States, and happily, the St. Vincent Girls High School from right next door. The sustained work of Settle and CIRU is undergirded by a strong campus quality assurance office and the regional office of quality assurance. And I want to thank Mrs. Coel Boyce, Dr. Sandra Richards, and Dr. Kay Thompson, who work collaboratively to ensure the campus's commitment to quality is sustained. Advancing our work, the Center for Food Security and Entrepreneurship continued to be the catalyst for value-added agribusiness in Barbados and the Caribbean. While we await further town and country planning for the latest revised submissions requested by the Government Electrical Engineering Department and the Environmental Protection Department for the Duke's Agribusiness Complex, the CFSE, under the leadership of Professor Ogaro, mounted a very successful exposition in Lime Grove Chairs, a place I think is familiar, which highlighted luxury leather goods from the Barbados Black Belly sheep, the West Indies Sea Island Cotton Project, the Dominica Organic Isle Project, and the Marine Bioprospection Project, which focus on creating a new economic sector. CFSE provides professional support to the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines after the country enacted legislation to create a medical cannabis economic sector. Professor Ogaro presented a paper to the CARICOM Secretariat entitled Global Developments in the Medical Cannabis Sector and Prospects for the Caribbean. Now, Chair, Professor Ogaro is advising CARICOM on the medical cannabis economic sector. Dr. Alana Griffith and Dr. Damian Cohol have recommended a 3-step process for the rollout of the medical cannabis industry in Barbados. And at the invitation of the government of Barbados, Dr. Kenneth Connell and Dr. Sylvia Henry are planning a series of workshops to train medical professionals in prescribing medical cannabis. Vice Chancellor, I am on an academic high from the excellent alignment and industry academic partnerships my colleagues are undertaking. We look at transforming the world of work. Building on the Smart Campus initiative, the campus continues to transform its operations to prepare faculty and students for a 21st century digital economy and society, especially the 21st century world of work. The majority of our students are millennials, digital natives. They expect services, content, pedagogical strategies, and facilities to utilize digital technology. The Global Institute in Software Technology, China, has repurposed the Sagicor Mutual Building in Bridgetown into a multi-purpose training facility and technology hub to enable fintech startup companies, student entrepreneurial ventures, and retraining and retooling of workers to be conducted in the city after business hours. Chair, this is a very critical development. This will drive traffic into the city and extend urban business activity for persons who pursue training at the refurbished mutual building. These facilities include 3 computer laboratories, 3 lab incubator spaces, which we intend to rent out, a lecture theater with seating capacity for 75, and a range of offices and a student lounge. The Center for Professional Development and Lifelong Learning, Dean Robinson, will offer classes in the mutual building to ensure reaching a wide cross-section of workers as possible. And through the Student Empowerment and Entrepreneurial Program, the campus continues to empower students to discover or unleash their entrepreneurial talent and to equip them so that they may create new businesses, exploiting the rapid changes in information technology. And one SEED graduate has already done that because she has launched her company, PS Procurement Sourcing. PS, it's a lovely name, PS at your service, but PS also means procurement sourcing, and we complement the Faculty of Social Sciences. Please convey our appreciation to Coordinator Ms. Ayana Young-Marshall for the excellent work of the SEED program. The Campus Student App was successfully introduced and currently serves an extremely popular, sometimes I think too popular, secure social media platform for students, faculty, and administrative staff. It is a vital communication tool, and it promotes engagement with the campus community on a range of topics, including location, lost and found, and sounding off. There's an over 40% upload where we had expected 25%. Now I want to just focus on some student demographics. In this table, it depicts enrollment trends for the past 10 years. From 2014 to 2018, we noticed that enrollment was declining in all faculties with the exception of medical sciences. And that decline was going on until the start of the last academic year, when, as I mentioned earlier, the government policy halted the decline by reversing the introduction of tuition fees in the academic year 2014-2015. So as I've already mentioned, the enrollment was declining, but when we got to the 2017 to 2018 year, the year that shows the 5,196, that number represented a 40% decline over 2014, the first 2015, the first year the tuition policy, students had to pay tuition. But as I have noted, with the new tuition policy, the enrollment for this academic year is 12.8% increase over last year. So you are seeing in this table, you see the year-to-year decline. But from this academic year, I should say, 2018, which started August 1st, we had a halt of the decline and an increase of 12.8%. Now, when we look at the composition, the gender distribution of the student body, we have 67% of our student body as are women and 33% are men. 69% of our students are full-time, while 31% are part-time. Now, full-time and part-time just means the size of the course load, the number of credit hours you're taking, and not whether you are coming in the day or in the evening. The Faculty of Social Sciences educates 52% of all undergraduate students, followed by 19% in the Faculty of Science and Technology. However, at the graduate level, 37% of all graduate students are from the Faculty of Humanities and Education, Dean O'Callaghan, Professor O'Callaghan, which represents a significant increase from last year, when that number in the faculty at the graduate level was 26%. So congratulations to you and your colleagues. 35% of graduate students are in the Faculty of Social Sciences. The Faculty of Medical Sciences has 12%, the Faculty of Science and Technology 11%, and I think the Faculty of Law is 4%. 70% of our undergraduate students are 24 years and under. But P.S., if we take the collective cohort between 34 and under, that number comes to 88%. And at the graduate level, 11% are 24 years and under, but 66% of postgraduate students are between the ages of 25 to 44. 77% of our undergraduate students are Barbadians, and I just grouped the rest from the Caribbean together. I like to differentiate the Eastern and wider Caribbean, but when you take them together, the Caribbean represent 23% at the undergraduate level, and at the postgraduate level, Barbadians are 71%, and students from the Eastern and wider Caribbean are 25%, and 4% of the students are international. For graduation, we graduated 1,510 students in October, of whom 298 were graduate students with 20 receiving PhD degrees. We graduated 1,292 students with undergraduate degrees, diplomas, or certificates, and this included 123 with first-class honors, and the rest, with upper seconds and so on. Our honorary graduates were a world-renowned scientist, Professor Ebenezer Owusu, Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, and distinguished Caribbean jurist, President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, and CAVIL alumnus, the Honorable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders, Dr. Ferdinand, a native of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Chair, when it comes to students' achievements, academic and athletic, it is difficult to know where to start with the outstanding performance and diverse achievements of our students. Mr. Zubin Dial was the latest CAVIL student to become a Rhodes Scholar. Faculty, he was a student of the Faculty of Social Sciences, I believe. Right. I just claimed it on behalf of the campus, but let it be known that he is a student of the Faculty of Social Sciences. The Faculty of Science and Technology students and entrepreneurs, Mr. Mikhail Eversley and Mr. Kima Codrington, own Oasis Laboratory and create beauty products from sargassum seaweed. We hosted the third evening of celebrating scholarly excellence for the students who performed exceptionally gained first-class honors, distinctions at the master's level, or high commendation at the PhD level. Chair, our student athletes continue to soar. Whether the blackbirds come on the field or court, we might as well do as killers say, take up the trophy and run with it. Whether it is hockey, netball, football, or cricket, the blackbirds are dominant. CAVIL student Mr. Orlando Husband represented Barbados and was the highest ranked player in the tournament and captured first prize at the Carifta Under 20 Absolute Division Chess Champions. Third straight year he has won the title. I believe he's probably from the Faculty of Social Sciences. The UE men and women hockey team emerged victors in the men and women's Scrimfest tournament. And Chair, the CCC cricket team created history when they became regional champions of first-class cricket in 2018. This historic victory vindicated their return to the first-class competition under head coach Mr. Floyd Reefer after the team was excluded from competition in 2014. Chair, I am putting it to Council this morning that it is time to revitalize the Caveville campus. After 10 years of continued financial austerity, especially the last 5 years of serious challenges, but very sound management, the time has come to revitalize the Caveville campus to enable it to better fulfill the UWI's mandate to Barbados and the region. Caveville is now aggressively pursuing financial and other strategic options to earn revenue, increase its intake of international students, and upgrade its ICT infrastructure. In the past 10 years, we have operated suboptimally in relation to capital upgrades. In other words, we didn't build anything and we couldn't undertake some necessary repairs. But we prioritize curriculum renewal, student-centeredness, staff engagement, enhancing our learning environment, and wherever we could, we improved services and programs for students. We are now at a turning point. The Caveville campus must invest in capital upgrades. It must invest in substantial infrastructural development and new programming thrusts so that we could increase our regional and international footprint and earn revenue. Chair, we are going to do just that. The areas I will now present are grounded in our AAA plan, but they will expand access to university education, strengthen alignment, and enhance the ability of the campus by initiating continuous improvements in our internal operating processes. The Caveville campus will break ground in late May for the construction of a 100-room dorm block, which will be a multi-million investment project at the Keith Hunt complex. Construction is slated to start by July 1st. In the past 4 years, demand for on-campus accommodation has far outstripped our ability to meet that demand, And if you look at that table, you will see that our total stock of dorm rooms is 341. And even in the years when the student numbers were declining, which were Barbadian students, the demand for dorm spaces far outstripped the supply. So you look for 4 years, the demand in 2015-16 was for 533 rooms. So we couldn't meet it by 192. And for every year of the past 4 years, the demand was greater than the 100 rooms that we are going to supply. We want to renew and intend to renew the Faculty of Science and Technology to assist Barbados and the region in realizing the full potential of the green and blue economies, as well as harness technological advances by upgrading the Faculty of Science and Technology. We are currently seeking investment funding aggressively. Professor Moore is assisting me with that, and Dr. Robinson, to construct new science facilities. The CDB, the Caribbean Development Bank, has provided US $150,000 in a grant to fund the design brief. And after we have that completed, we will then have something to shop for the funds. But we have begun those conversations. With the infrastructural renewal of the faculty, we will nurture creativity in science and technology and enhance employment opportunities. Chair, last year, I told colleagues that UE must now recognize the maturity and intellectual marketability of cultural studies and the performing arts by mapping a faculty structure on existing centers and units. We have the scholars and artists, but most of all, we have a rich and varied intellectual and experiential fields of study that mark us as unique in the world. This morning, I will table a proposal to approve a Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts at the Cayville campus. The faculty will provide intellectual leadership and career opportunities in the burgeoning cultural industries of the Caribbean and internationally. The faculty structure provides institutional prominence and marketing visibility for the degrees in cultural studies, film, dance, and theater. The significant part here is that this faculty can be established with no additional cost for resources or facilities, but with tremendous economic benefits, both economic and social, for the UWI, Barbados, the country, and the region. Last year, we launched the Center for Biosecurity Studies, and since we launched the center, we have been receiving offers from all over the world for international research collaborations. And here are some of the persons who have written to us: Professor Rebecca Katz of Georgetown University, Mr. O'Neill Hamilton, the regional coordinator for the United Nations Security Council resolution and the expert on counterterrorism executive directorate, Major Michael Jones, the executive director of CARICOM Implementation Agency for Crime and Security. Some others: Professor Devi Sridhar, Dr. Srikath Reddy, and the university has just appointed Professor Akin Abiomi, Professor of Clinical Medicine at the Nigerian Institute of Internal Medicine, an expert on Ebola, and he will enable us to begin pursuing the lucrative research collaboration which brings funds into the Cayville campus. We intend that the center will become fully operational from August 1st, 2019. It will be offering specialized training, fee-based courses, and provision of advice to governments and agencies on consultant research and policy briefs. In June, the campus, in the context of an MOU with CARICAD, the campus will establish a School of Government and Public Policy that will offer specialized training to Barbadian and Caribbean civil servants catering to 3 levels. And this training will be in areas like leadership and change management, post-crisis disaster management, and the role of the government services in national development. So we will cater to persons entering the civil service for the first time, middle management, and senior leadership. And I want to inform Council, the school is not a physical structure, but a programming division aligned with the Center for Professional Development and Lifelong Learning, and offering specialized curricula to this special cohort of persons that we are helping to discharge their responsibilities to governments in a much more efficient and professional manner. We have prioritized access in pursuing our strategic objectives. We have deepened relations with corporate, government, and civic society partners, And on Sunday, March 11th, we will have the third RBC UWI Race for the Kids, which supports scholarships for the First Year Experience Program, a dynamic program under the leadership of Mrs. Day Lynch, Director of Student Services. Our recent activities, the activities on the alignment, include a one-day interministerial consultation with ministers of the new Barbados governments to outline synergies between the government's agenda and the UWI's mandate. On August 2nd, we mounted an international one-day symposium on building resistance to biosecurity threats in the Caribbean. A distinguished group of colleagues from the Faculty of Social Sciences, the Barbados Economic Society, the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the Cavell Office of Research and Innovation delivered a one-day symposium to assess the Caribbean economies 10 years after the global financial crisis. And on January 29th and 30th, the Confucius Institute and the Arthur Lewis Institute for Social and Economic Research, SELICES, organized 2 days of activities on China's Belt and Road Initiative. The CI mounted its second annual lecture, delivered by Professor Honshong Ren of CUPL, and SELICES delivered a one-day symposium on the Belt and Road Initiative, and they also launched the UWI Global Belt and Road Research Network. Chair, the best evidence of the impact of the campus has, and a significant measure of its value in strengthening Barbadian and Caribbean societies, is the vast extent to which colleagues from the campus have been invited to sit on national and regional bodies, corporate boards and committees. I can't put all up here, but I can't read. I will just let you look and get a sense. The UWI Vice Chancellor in the strategic plan has a target that 50% of staff must sit on these bodies. Chair, I think that we have exceeded that 50% in 1 year. There are others who are not up there. Our staff members, Chair, continue to excel. 9 colleagues won research awards during Research Week, while 6 colleagues received the Principal's Awards for Excellence at the annual Staff Awards ceremony. Chair, at this point, I would like to pause and invite the Deputy Principal, the Deans of the Faculty of Social Sciences, Law, Medical Sciences, Faculty of Humanities and Education, and representing the Dean of the Faculty of Sport, Mrs. Amanda Reefer, Head of the Academy, to present on their respective portfolios. Colleagues, I thank you.
Chair, as the Principal has said, students are the bedrock of our activities, and student matters fall under the Office of the Deputy Principal, and I am pleased to report to Council on the departments under the remit of my office, and these are geared towards ensuring that students of the Cave Hill campus are provided with the support necessary for their holistic development. The departments include the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, which the Principal has already mentioned in her address, the Office of Student Services, the Student Health Clinic, and the UWI HIV/AIDS response program called UWIHA. The programs in these departments therefore enhance the teaching and learning environment, they provide student support services, and they promote healthy lifestyles. If I can start with the promotion of healthy lifestyles and the work in the Student Health Clinic. In keeping with the Smart Campus initiative, the Student Health Clinic has undertaken a root and branch digital transformation in how it manages its patients and medical records by moving to an electronic medical records management system. The UniCharts system is linked to the student registration platform and therefore drives efficient workflows and patient charts and security-enabled access to student medical records. A byproduct of moving to this system was that we cleared out paper-based records going back to the 1970s, which were in themselves presenting a health hazard. The EMR is underpinned by an electronic medical records policy, which is a new policy, and a confidentiality statement and agreement signed by UWI employees who are authorized to access the EMR. And Chair, this is with a view to protecting the privacy and confidentiality of personal data. The Student Health Clinic has collaborated for the past 3 years in an extensive vaccination drive to ensure that students who are not fully covered for all their vaccines, particularly if they travel, may be so. And we're very grateful for the collaboration with the Ministry of Health, which has led to over 500 vaccinations for infectious agents such as varicella, diphtheria, polio, influenza, hepatitis B, typhoid, and newly added to the list a human papillomavirus, the causative agent of cervical cancer and testicular cancer, and these are considered treatable now through vaccination. The UWI HIV/AIDS response program is really has moved well beyond its origins, which were in a response to the HIV epidemic, and it is concerned with the holistic sexual health of our student population. And in this capacity, in the past year, it has conducted over 1,000 sexually transmitted infectious disease tests, including HIV, syphilis, chlamydia, and gonorrhea. Moving on to the enhancing of the teaching and learning environment, I will be quite brief in this one because it's been mentioned quite extensively by the principal already. In addition to the postgraduate certificate in university teaching and learning, which is really leading to the systematic pedagogical renewal of our teaching faculty, we have also introduced assistive classroom technology. We had already introduced technology, again in keeping with the Smart Campus, to assist persons who are either blind or visually impaired, such as read, speak, and text aid. And it's almost certain that these have helped our students to excel. The highest scoring GPA for a law student in the previous year was by Janelle Odell, who is legally blind. And this year we have added a new audio enhancing technology into the classroom space, which allows students with hearing impairment to be directly linked and have the listening assistive device attached to them without the lecturer having to undertake any particular changes to his voice or anything at all. Moving on to and ending with student support. The Office of Student Services is involved in providing the foundation on which students can succeed. And when you have a retention rate, which is in the second year, what proportion of your students who originally registered are still retained, of over 90.8%, and when you have a 5-year completion rate of full-time students of 92.3%, this means that you are providing support to your students in addition to the teaching and learning environment. So we have a full-time psychological counselor. If necessary, a consultant psychologist has regular visits. We have a medical officer who herself is qualified in counseling. We have another part-time psychological counselor who has been added for evening sessions, which is quite popular with students, and another qualified psychological counselor, these would be part-time posts, for a drop-in clinic to assist students who are having difficulty transitioning from the secondary education into the tertiary system. In terms of the transport, we have a shuttle service, which is a supplementary transport service for the students, and we are pleased to report that we were able to introduce 2 new vehicles into this fleet, and we have been scientifically monitoring the number of students which we carry per semester. It quite surprised us when we measured this. We carry over 100,000 riders per semester on our shuttle fleet. And I will end with the growth of our internship programs. It's a stated objective in our strategic plan to increase the number of high-value opportunities that students have for internships. In the past 5 years, these have grown from 25 students per year to 109, and the growth is trending upwards, underpinned by the excellent work of the Office of Student Services. Chair, I'm very pleased to commend the report from the Deputy Principal to Council.
All right, thanks, Chair. Good morning. Warmest greetings to colleagues here in person or present somewhere in cyberspace. Academic year 2017-18 was another challenging but ultimately rewarding year for the Faculty of Social Sciences at UWITV. The external environment continued to be a difficult one, and as a result, the faculty, along with the campus, was forced to operate with severe cash flow constraints. The faculty's activities were shaped by the AAA strategic plan with its overarching themes of access, agility, and alignment, and the vision of a smart campus for the 21st century outlined by the campus principal. In terms of access, the Faculty of Social Sciences at Cave Hill continued to be the main vehicle for students in Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean to access tertiary education and the personal and societal benefits that come from such access. Despite the challenging environment, the faculty continued to offer a wide variety of courses and programs, and students were generally satisfied with course content and delivery. This was evidenced by the median student teaching evaluation score of 4.12 out of a maximum of 5, an improvement over 4.03 in the last academic year. I want to take the opportunity to publicly thank and commend the teaching and admin staff for their passionate and continued commitment to student success despite the challenging environment. As mentioned by the principal, the faculty made a major push in expanding access with the establishment of the Center for Professional Development and Lifelong Learning. The center has been very successful in its short life. It offers a variety of short courses on an open enrollment basis, and it presents a new avenue where persons can access university-level training at various stages in their career and their personal development. The faculty saw a slight drop in its per capita research output, mainly due to a decline in output from the economics department, which saw a number of resignations and transitions. For example, Professor Moore, who used to churn out an article every week, has gone to become director of grad studies. So now he's only doing one every other week. However, the faculty did see a healthy increase in its citations and the H-index, indicating that the research is impacting globally. Table 1 on page 183 of your departmental reports give the key performance indicators and targets for the faculty under the access theme. And I'm not going to bore you with those, but these KPIs reflect those that are embedded in the AAA plan, as well as some key indicators that form part of the Times Higher Education University ranking. In terms of agility, the faculty maintained a tight focus on its costs, and we did see an improvement in our operating margin from 4% to 4.5%. And we anticipate further improvements as the CPDL expands its course offerings, because again, that was introduced to expand access, but also to give us some financial flexibility. The faculty is of the view that a new culture needs to emerge across budget holders in the faculty, and if not across the campus, if the objectives under this theme are to be met. At present, budget holders, the reporting system, they have no sense if their activities are generating a surplus or a deficit, or the scale of such surpluses or deficits. And the faculty is implementing a contribution analysis template, which is highlighted in your booklet, where each budget holder now has a tool where he can identify whether or not his unit is generating a surplus or a deficit. So again, table 2 on page 184 of your booklet gives the KPIs and targets around the agility team. Our main development in agility, though, was that the faculty used machine learning techniques to develop a credit risk assessment tool, which is also programmed to allow financial institutions to report expected credit losses as required under the new International Financial Reporting Standard 9. Anybody around accounting knows that this is the year of IFRS 9. The tool has been successfully used by a major local financial institution for its 2018 financial reporting, and the faculty is in the process of marketing this tool across the OECS and develop it as an online product, again, consistent with the KPIs under the agility team, where the campus wants to earn a greater share of revenue from digital products. In terms of alignment, the faculty has a rich tradition of public engagement, and 2017 and 18 was no exception. The faculty performed especially well in terms of the number of seminars and symposia held, as well as staff serving on external bodies. 65% of our staff currently serve on external bodies. We are also quite pleased with the establishment of the Center for Biosecurity Studies within the faculty to again address an area that is important but somewhere below the radar. Table 4 on page 184 presents the KPIs under alignment and the targets. And we want to close with a couple of faculty highlights. The Sachiko Kiefer School of Business and Management hosted the first cohort of its joint Global Human Resource Management course in partnership with the University of Indiana. This is a key part of our internationalization drive. Dr. Prosper Skeet also coordinated summer school abroad program in collaboration with the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. This program saw 15 UWI students go to North Carolina last year, and 15 are coming this year. And the economic department's internship program with the IADB continued to be extremely successful. This year's awardee, Mr. Zubin Deal, was also awarded a Rhodes Scholarship. So in conclusion, Chair, I would say that we have continued to expand access. We are well aligned to the needs of the wider society, and we are working on our agility as we play our part in building a smart campus for the 21st century. Thank you.
Chair, I'm pleased to be able to offer a few remarks on the activities of the Faculty of Law during the 2017-18 academic year. Firstly, in keeping with the Smart Campus Initiative, I should mention that the Faculty of Law Library entered into a significant relationship with Justice Publishing, an international online publisher, to host its Carey Law database. This move brought more powerful software to search Caribbean unreported judgments and extended the market reach of Carey Law far beyond the Caribbean. It has proved profitable and will help promote and make accessible Caribbean law regionally and internationally. In terms of research, the University Rights Advocacy Project continued its strong work in the area of human rights protection. URAP led a summer fellowship program to help train student researchers, undertook public awareness activities in Belize and Guyana, and published its second newsletter to the Caribbean Social Justice and Pro Bono Lawyering Group. It also hosted a Caribbean Judicial Dialogue session, and academics presented a wide range of papers. The Caribbean Law Institute Center under the Faculty of Law continued its important work on the Impact Justice Project, a $19 million Canadian development project administered by Professor Velma Newton. Impact Justice continued its work on several model laws, including a model arbitration bill and regulations, and a CARICOM model consumer protection bill, amongst others. The model legal profession bill was further developed and benefited from consultations, and Impact Justice assisted the region by helping to fund students to pursue courses in the areas of legislative drafting. In terms of student activities, the faculty was unable to offer its Washburn summer program as a result of low take-up by Washburn students. However, the faculty did offer a replacement Level 3 course in the summer, Caribbean Integration Law, and this course represented the first time the faculty has offered one of its regular courses in the accelerated 3-week format over the summer. This format opens up new possibilities for our students and is exciting. The faculty's international mooting program brought a number of successes. As you already heard from the principal, Cave Hill teams won the Caribbean China International Law Moot Court competition in Beijing, China, and all of the associated prizes. She mentioned some, but for completeness, let me mention all. Best memorial for the applicant, best memorial for the respondent, best advocate for the applicant, and best advocate for the respondents. Now, in terms of our teams competing in Chinese language 10 years from now, I'm very pleased today to invite the principal to help train our students in the Chinese language. She may not be able to bind future principals' hands with her pronouncements today, but she can certainly personally assist in our development of strong language skills, and I look forward to that assistance. In the Inter-American Human Rights Moot Court competition, a trilingual competition held in Washington, D.C., the Cave Hill team was the only English-speaking team to reach the semifinals, and Cave Hill took home a number of prizes. Second best memorial for victims in English, best oralist in English, and second best oralist in English. Cave Hill also performed admirably in the Caribbean Court of Justice International Moot Court competition. In terms of student activities which provide alignment with the business and legal profession, the faculty has offered practical exposure to law and business through 13 internships for LLB students. These internships were with entities including the Barbados Supreme Court, the Fair Trading Commission, the Office of Trade and Negotiations, and the CSME office. The faculty also secured several summer internships for LLM and legislative drafting students, and these provided practical hands-on work experience and assisted CARICOM countries with their legislative drafting agendas. In terms of student academic awards, the faculty honored students in 2 Dean's List ceremonies, the first awarding 46 and the second 55 students for achieving a semester GPA of 3.60 or above. This is a significant achievement. These ceremonies were well attended and benefited from delightful student performances in song and poetry, showing multifaceted talent. In terms of financial aid, the faculty was able to help those less fortunate by offering 3 bursaries of $3,000 under the Students' Trust Fund law, and an additional 2 bursaries donated by academic staff in the Faculty of Law in the amount of $1,000 each. With respect to staff activities, in addition to a wide range of conference presentations and publications by staff, it must be highlighted that one of our colleagues, Deputy Dean Westman James, received the Principal's Award for Excellence in Outstanding Teaching. Even more heartwarming, with his award monies, Mr. James established the Douglas Mendez Prize for Advocacy for Outstanding Achievement in International Mooting. In terms of outreach, the faculty partnered with the Death Penalty Project and other NGOs in an EU-funded project related to research on attitudes on the death penalty, and we're continuing work in that area. As part of outreach and fundraising, Cave Hill Law hosted 2 conferences, the first on legal history and empires, perspectives from the colonized. This is a multidisciplinary conference which brought lawyers, international lawyers, legal historians, and historians to the campus to debate a wide range of topics. It was well attended, 80 delegates, 77 papers, 26 panels, a large international conference. The second was our 17th annual Caribbean Commercial Law Workshop, which focused on the theme of resilience in the face of natural and man-made disasters. 67 persons from around the world attended, with 25 speakers presenting on a wide range of topics, including financial technology, fintech, employment law, investment, disaster management, and legal regulation. The workshop was profitable and was generously supported by several sponsors, who I again thank today. The faculty welcomed delegations from a number of universities, including the University of Leuphana, Germany, in the person of its vice president, Professor Jörg ter Hecht. And the faculty worked with Professor ter Hecht on a double LLM degree program, which is to be rolled out in this August. Now, this program has been approved and will be offered in August 2019. It is the first double degree program rolled out by the faculties of law and should provide tremendous academic, professional, and personal experiences for Caribbean and European students. Finally, Chair, I would like to indicate that the faculty was very pleased to be able to formally congratulate a number of alumni on significant achievements, including Her Excellency Dame Sandra Mason on her appointment to the position of Governor General of Barbados, Her Excellency Paula May Weeks on her appointment as President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and the Honorable Justice Adrian Saunders on his elevation to the presidency of the Caribbean Court of Justice. I thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Let's begin. Chair, in Barbados, STEM has reached a point of crisis. We have become a society of great consumers of technology and to some extent its use, but when it comes to the innovation and creativity necessary for the entrepreneurial side of it, we are failing fast, mainly because of a lack of a sustained support for science, technology, engineering, mathematics in Barbados. So we have essentially missed the beginning of the mobile app boom. We're about to miss the beginning of the AI boom. And if we're not careful, we'll miss the Internet of Things, well, let's say boom. Given the urgency of this situation, and the faculty obviously understands its role in all of this, and while we realize that we can't do this alone, we are taking measures to help resolve this issue. So over the last academic year, we've urgently begun to look at STEM entrepreneurship and all the areas related around it. When we actually look at our students and their attitudes towards STEM entrepreneurship, I should say, a large issue that has come up is the society's attitude towards graduates of our faculty in the area of entrepreneurship. There's the belief that when our graduates come out, their role in entrepreneurship is to be in the basement creating the technology and not the leaders of said companies, in spite of the fact that they're all around the world. We have some of the richest people are graduates of science and technology. And our students then come into the faculty with that point of view. So the first thing we decided to tackle was to make a change in that point of view so that we can get our entrepreneurship activities going. We decided to take play on the word nerd, which is used usually in a negative way, especially on the comedies on TV. And we've decided to call our initiative Embrace Your Inner Nerd. However, the acronym nerd is, sorry, the word nerd is an acronym where we say N is for being novel, or be innovative and creative, extendable, be flexible and open-minded, resourceful, use whatever is available, especially in small island states, and the most important one, determined, never give up. So with that, focusing around that particular phrase, we've started a number of projects under that initiative. The first one we decided to do is to bring members from the private sector in to have discussions with our students on STEM-based entrepreneurship and how they have maneuvered and moved to get to the point. So while overall we're not doing too well, we do have some local pockets of excellence. So the first presentation was, for example, we had a number, I'll just give a couple. We had Ms. Joanna Edgehill, the Managing Director of Megapower Barbados, come and speak to our students. As we know that is the Barbadian company that builds and manages solar carports, as well as a network of electric vehicle charging stations and the vehicles themselves. So she talked about the electric vehicles, the batteries, the smart grid technology was discussed, and also the students got to see firsthand an electric van as opposed to a car, because we see enough of those. We also had a graduate from the faculty some years ago, a while back, Mr. George Thomas, who is the co-founder of an international business company called Mongoose Development. Don't mind the name. It specializes in software architecture and development with an emphasis on fintech, Internet of Things, and machine learning solutions. He was highlighting with the students his mentorship program, where he focuses on areas like DevOps, agile team development. Those are the latest areas you will find in this sort of thing. So his mentorship program, interesting, is very free-flowing, and it focuses on assisting the students in the development of a career in software development and so on. I should also say that this year, the same Oasis group that was in the principal's presentation also gave a presentation to our students this year and about the steps necessary to move from being chemistry students to entrepreneurs using the chemistry expertise they gain in our faculty. Also last year, we decided we needed to create an annual event for our students, so we played on the word nerd again, and we called it Nerd Day. That's actually not an original idea. That has been done across the world. If you go online and type nerd, you'll find many universities are doing similar things. But at our Nerd Day, the last academic year, we exposed our students to past technology, well, back in time. We let them see what our postgraduate students are currently doing. Some local innovations, like for this year would have been Oasis. And also this year, we also started to look at future technologies as well. And we like to have, it's a day long, so you need to have some fun. So we have fun activities, science crossword puzzles, a Rubik Cubes race. Anybody remembers a Rubik Cube?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Bad memory.
Right, we did have some students, younger ones, who actually got through it very quickly. what I should say is one of the reasons we're looking at the past is that many of the great discoveries in STEM are based, have resulted from an understanding of the past in terms of mistakes made and what was achieved. And if I quote the philosopher and writer George Santayana, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And so we don't want our students repeating work that has been done in before. But nevertheless, we had equipment such as floppy disks. Anyone remember this floppy disks? Hard disks the size of lunch boxes and so on. In terms of future, we wanted our students to understand the consequences of the adoption of new technologies on society and how those changes will occur. Some people are of the belief, for example, that we will no longer be driving, but we'll be driven by autonomous vehicles, and we may, those of us who are older may protest that. But nevertheless, at our display, we had smart speakers that use the cloud and artificial intelligence on display. Nevertheless, we have moved on to the creation of courses, presentations, and workshops because we need to focus now on the business literacy, things like starting a business and so on, which other faculties may take as for granted, but not ours. And let's see. And the last thing under the Embrace Your Inner Nerd initiative, we have also started increasing our focus on the applied research side and getting our more and more of our academics involved in that research. So we have persons involved with equipment for persons with disabilities, robotics, use of drones, and so on. I would like to end lastly by saying that our Science for All initiative, it continues to bear fruit, which is a focus on the issues of gender and students with disabilities enrolling into the faculty. We know there's a worldwide shortage of females in the technological side, as well as persons with disabilities. But nevertheless, during the academic year, we had our first graduate who uses a wheelchair, Miss Miranda Blackman, to graduate from the faculty. So I'd like to congratulate her on that. And as a result of the initiative, we've seen a 5-fold increase in the number of students with physical disabilities entering the faculty. So I would just end by saying, and a similar increase with learning disabilities, I should say. I would just end by saying that next week, I'm going to advertise here, next week, March 14th to 15th, we are having, in collaboration with the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Smart Technology, through the National Council of Science and Technology, we're having our first Science and Technology Festival under the big tents on the Cave Hill campus, where we'll have displays from the private sector, the schools, government, etc., and the faculty, of course. Everyone in here is invited to come. And I will end by saying the event is going to be accessible to persons with disabilities with some of the special needs schools participating as well. So I will conclude at that point. Thank you.
Chair, the Faculty of Medical Sciences offering the full 5-year MBBS program, that's the Faculty of Medical Sciences at Cave Hill, of course, completed its first 10 years at the end of the 2017-2018 academic year. 66 new students were admitted to the first year of the MBBS program, a decrease from the previous year. However, this was deliberate and was intended to prevent overburdening of the clinical facilities available on island. The program continues to attract qualified applicants from around the Caribbean and is fully subscribed. Pass rates remain good. During the review period, the 6th cohort of MBBS students wrote their final exams, with 56 of the 61 students graduating. The faculty launched some new initiatives. Academic advising, an enhanced academic advising and mentorship program was started for Phase 1 MBBS students. This included scheduled group and individual sessions with an advisor, and the requirement for students to keep a personal development portfolio and reflect on weaknesses and strengths. The aim is to help students not only during their medical degree, but also facilitate them becoming reflective practitioners when they graduate. Workshops were held for staff to prepare them for the rollout of the academic advising. Other developments included cross-campus anatomy teaching occurring between Mona and Cave Hill. This was facilitated by the purchase of a second-hand Polycom system. The FMS at all UWI sites piloted Firecracker, which is intended to help with summative assessment. The MBBS Medicine and Therapeutics final clinical examinations was held at the Clinical Skills Building rather than at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital for the first time. This was a success, with the facilities being praised by the university examiners who supervised the exams. The faculty and students competed in a 2020 cricket match in October at the 3Ws Oval. The staff happened to win the first match. We will report on the outcome of the second match in the next report next year. A student assistance fund was set up in order to receive voluntary donations from staff members, and this is to help students of the FMS who are in need. The pinning ceremony held in October 2017 at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Conference Center was attended by over 250 persons. Attendees included numerous parents from Trinidad, the Bahamas, and St. Lucia, in addition to from those from Barbados. CAMHP accreditation. The May 2018 progress report was presented to CAMHP and was received very favorably. The authority was very pleased with the remarkable progress made in addressing all concerns and extended the accreditation to the full 5-year period. This achievement was due to the FMS cross-campus committees that met regularly to address all accreditation issues. In postgraduate programs, the DM programs remain fully subscribed, and family medicine and public health continue to attract fee-paying students to their postgraduate programs. The Bachelor of Health Sciences, which is the second undergraduate program currently being run, this income-generating program began in 2015-2016, and enrollment has grown steadily, and there are now a total of 34 students enrolled. We've already heard from the principal on the MSc Nursing Administration and MSc Nursing Education, and the BSc in Preclinical Sciences, which is articulated with the MBCHB degree of the University of Ghana, and which will allow us to take in students who will start here in Barbados and complete in Ghana their medical degree. For the staff, Dr. Alok Kumar was elevated to the rank of Professor of Pediatrics. 6 faculty members completed a Certificate of University Teaching and Learning, and 1 staff member was awarded a PhD in Public Health. In research, the Faculty of Medical Sciences continued with their research output. The Ecorn Group received a National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute NIH grant worth over $500,000 US for the period June 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2023 to set up a pediatric cohort in Barbados to study the offspring of persons enrolled in the already established adult cohort. The overall objective is to characterize intergenerational factors that contribute to pediatric cardiovascular risk. Additionally, the study is designed to examine the relationship between sleep deficiency and pediatric obesity, hypertension, hyperlipidemia, and diabetes, all things relevant to Barbados. There were 4 refereed book chapters published and over 23 publications in peer-reviewed journals by the FMS alone. Outreach, faculty continuing their outreach, CME conferences, public lectures for the 70th anniversary of UWI, and faculty members served in continue to serve on numerous boards. That completes my report. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. The Faculty of Humanities and Education continued to develop its teaching and research informed by its core principles of critical thinking, competent communication skills, and creative expression, incorporating the technological enhancements of the digital humanities paradigm. In keeping with the university's strategic plan, the faculty promoted its traditional strengths in all forms of language use, textual analysis, and cultural and creative expression, which contribute to high-level professional success and, perhaps more crucially, commitment to community, in line with the Vice-Chancellor's vision of a revitalized activist university. Demonstrating that students were at its center, the annual faculty prize-giving ceremony was revived to highlight the academic performance of prize winners and those who'd achieved their degrees with first-class honors. The Errol Barrow Center for Creative Imagination sent 3 students, accompanied by the lecturer in dance, to perform in the Sussex Festival of the Performing Arts in the UK, and the students received rave reviews for their performance. Clap, clap, clap. As the principal mentioned, As part of the objective to effect curricular reform, the faculty celebrated the approval of the B.Ed Early Childhood Care and Education. Additionally, the minor in creative writing is now on the books, and a minor in Chinese were approved for rolling out in 2018-19. Several income-generating short courses to be delivered through the Center for Professional Development and Lifelong Learning were identified within the departments, particularly in languages, modern languages, for business, for healthcare professionals, etc. The Department of History and Philosophy held a public interdisciplinary forum on nuclear war games, a photographic exhibition in collaboration with the main library, and the annual Cave Hill Philosophy Symposium. Additionally, public lectures by visiting international scholars cemented the relationship between the faculty and the network it tries to build across the globe. Highlights included the Elsa Govaya annual lecture delivered by Professor Alan Cobley on the impact of the First World War in the Caribbean, and of course the Kamau Brathwaite lecture in cultural studies delivered by Wesleyan University Professor Gillian Ulysse. Dr. Denise de Caries Narain of Sussex University spoke on the interesting topic of maids and madams, knowledge, power and feeling, and Dr. Mully Amaye of UWI St. Augustine talked about teaching creative writing. Dr. John Rickford delivered the annual Richard Alsop Memorial Lecture, and the EBCCI mounted the biennial International Dance Conference. The faculty ended the year by bringing Caribbean and international scholars to the Association of Caribbean Historians annual conference and, as Dean Berry mentioned, the inaugural cross-faculty Legal Histories Conference. The Center for English Language Learning, with Dr. Stacey Denny as coordinator, customized teaching programs for cohorts from institutions seeking English language competence in Latin America and the Francophone Caribbean. The Foundation Language Program, guided by PVC Alan Cobley, was renamed the Academic Literacies Department, the Academic Literacies Program. Discussions with the Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences and psychology lecturers across our two faculties resulted in a common action plan out of the review of psychology. This featured an agreement to design a common core degree structure across the two faculties, which has been completed, and the establishment of a Center for Caribbean Psychology Research at Cave Hill. And we're very pleased about that. As usual, I end by reiterating that the faculty's efforts are primarily for and in support of our fabulous students. Whether they're teaching in China or Colombia, working in the media, education, as musicians, writers, video game designers, lawyers, and excuse me for mentioning it, but permanent secretaries in Ministry of Education, and all other important venues, they give back to the region what we give them: challenges, support, and a solid core of critical and creative analysis. Thank you, Chair.
Good morning, Chair. I am delighted to bring the report from Dr. Akshay Mansingh, Dean of the Faculty of Sport. The Faculty of Sport became the newest faculty of the University of the West Indies on August 1st, 2017, the first new faculty in over 40 years. Its format is a cross-campus faculty with academies of sport on each campus. Each academy has sections dealing with academics and research, sporting activities, and outreach. And the faculty office is located in Mona, where the Dean, Administrative, Personnel, Projects Officer, and the Curriculum Development Specialist reside. On the 1st of August 2018, the Cave Hill campus, Faculty of Social Sciences, transferred 3 programs to the Faculty of Sport: the Certificate in Management and Administration of Sport, the BSc Sports Science, and MSc Sports Science programs. Thank you, Dean Robinson, for holding the fort until we took over on August 1st. During this academic period, 2017 to 2018, the Faculty of Sport has developed 2 new programs, the BSc in Sport Coaching and Sports Kinetics. These programs are expected to expand and increase the enrollment capacity within the faculty. The hiring of the lab technician, Ms. Natalie DeSedan, in August 2017 was a significant development. We were able to deliver science-based sports science courses at Cave Hill through this sports science lab for biomechanics, exercise physiology, and strength and conditioning. The Academy of Sport continues to develop internship and practicum opportunities for our undergraduate and postgraduate students with the Barbados Olympic Association, National Sports Council, Regional Anti-Doping Organization, and the Barbados Cricket Association. In that year, the UWI partnered with the Caribbean Premier League, which allows students in the sports science program to work in this franchise league, shadowing many sports science professionals and marketers in a very practical experience for them. It was a very practical experience for them. The Cave Hill Academy of Sport benefits from 10 sports scholarships and 10 sports grants every year. This allows us to replenish the talent pool we have for the Blackbirds brand so that we can continue to soar from year to year. One major sporting activity was the re-establishment of the Sagicor UWI High Performance Center. This was critical as we recognized that the students and the talent within the region required a high performance center that could allow them to develop their sporting prowess in a very in an environment that was conducive and nurturing. We are very, very pleased to thank Sagicor for supporting us in this re-establishment of this very critical resource for Caribbean excellence. You would have already heard from the principal that the combined campuses and colleges team participated and won the Super 50 Cup this year. And we want to also thank the head coach, Floyd Reefer, and his team for a historic and tremendous outcome. Under outreach, along with Sagicor, the Faculty of Sport organized the Hurricane Relief Cricket Match, and we raised US $127,976.18 for the victims of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. And we wish to thank everyone that came out to that event and everyone that contributed. In closing, the sports facilities at the Cave Hill campus remain the best in the country. Although it requires ongoing maintenance and expansion, we have started to commercialize and generate substantial revenue from our sports facilities and this investment. Only today we have the knapsack semifinals at the Usain Bolt Sports Complex, but we will continue to expand our efforts to generate revenue, commercialize our facilities, as well as our sports science labs in offering testing and analytical services to national and regional bodies. The current West Indies cricket team, female and senior team, already are utilizing this space. As a young faculty, we will continue to strive for excellence and expand our program offering so that we can meet the demands and the growing expectations of our citizens in the region. Thank you.
I'd like now to invite the principal to complete her report. Yes, there is a bit more that the principal would like to close with. And while she's going up, I would like to recognize that we've had most informative reports from the deputy principal and the deans. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Tony Moore Bascom. Principal.
Thank you, Chair. Well, Chair, Vice Chancellor, members of Council, you have heard from my senior management and I believe that we have demonstrated how we have led the Cave Hill campus, not only in the past year, but throughout that period of adversity that I spoke to, and all the while concentrating on implementing the AAA goals of access, alignment, and agility. The Cave Hill campus, members of council, colleagues, is confident, resolute, resilient, and committed to the revitalization of Barbados and the Caribbean. And we are committed and dedicated to expanding access transforming the skilled labor force, growing applied research and innovation to advance Caribbean societies while earning revenue for greater financial self-sufficiency. My management team and I remain unswervingly dedicated to the UWI mission and mandate of providing a first-class range of quality educational goods and services to the citizens of Barbados and the Caribbean. On behalf of the University of the West Indies, I want to thank Professor Evelyn O'Callaghan for her exemplary and committed leadership of the Faculty of Humanities and Education and her outstanding scholarship and her mentoring of younger colleagues. This is her last council, and colleagues, I want you to join me in showing appreciation for Professor O'Callaghan. Chair, Vice Chancellor, members of Council, our internet audience, I thank you. Thank you.
Principal, I thank you, and we all thank you. I mean, your report, as usual, once again, most informative and totally comprehensive. Thank you so much. It's now my pleasure to invite the Vice Chancellor, Sir Hilary Beckles, to make any comment he considers appropriate in relation to the affairs of the campus and the university.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished colleagues, students, very good day. I believe today is a blessed day, International Women's Day. Our principal, who has distinguished herself as an academic in the area of research in the interests of women and development, and we are receiving her report within the context of a new Prime Minister in Barbados, Ms. Motley, within the context of a new Minister of Education, Ms. Bradshaw, and a new PS of Education, Mrs. Phillips. So it is women all the way. And as I speak, Her Excellency Penny Beckles, who is Trinidad and Tobago's ambassador to the UN, is speaking in the UN on the issue of women with a special focus on the University of the West Indies. And she, of course, is a graduate of this campus. So the women have taken responsibility, have risen up and taken responsibility for advancing our circumstance. And I would ask you to give Principal Barito another round of applause for a brilliant report. We do not take good leadership for granted. In developing countries such as ours, excellent leadership is a rare commodity. And what we have seen within the KFIL campus in the last year is a demonstration of good leadership, the creation of a culture of resilience, and the ability and willingness to take tough decisions. The willingness to take tough decisions while simultaneously formulating a vision for the institution and holding the campus together for all of these things, we are very appreciative, and I can tell you that this Vice Chancellor is grateful. Around the world, colleagues oftentimes ask the question, how have you all been able to maintain a first-class university in a recessionary circumstance? While other universities are recovering from the 2008 global financial recession, we are still recovering from the 1990s recession. And we've had two, one after the other, and many of our countries have not achieved the kind of production which they had in the 80s. So for us, this systemic decline in our material circumstance, poverty is increasing in many parts of the region. Inequality is increasing in most parts of the region. And we are called upon to maintain a first-class institution within that ecosystem. The indicators at Cave Hill, as outlined by the principal, are suggesting that not only is the campus rebounding, but it is indeed now thriving. This is important. And it is important for us to be clear for the record. We must not brush aside historical circumstances as if they are not relevant. And we have heard Dean Depredine make reference to the truth that if you ignore your history, you will step right in it, the deepest and darkest end of it, again and again. The enrollment collapse at the Cave Hill campus was catastrophic. We must begin with an appreciation of that in order to understand the leadership that Principal Barito has provided. It was the most catastrophic collapse of the enrollment in the history of the University of the West Indies. In fact, the empirical evidence would suggest that it was the most catastrophic collapse of enrollment on a campus in the Western world in the last 30 to 40 years. And there are students who are doing research around the world on higher education. Just a year ago, I was contacted by a student from Poland who is doing her PhD on the collapse of the Cave Hill campus enrollment. And the politics, the policies, and the circumstances that led to the catastrophe. So it is observed globally, and it is seen as the best case example of how not to plan for higher education. But the campus did not go into a psychological profile of winding. It was determined to win, to be resilient, because the leadership knew it was on the right side of history. It's important also on this day, this Women's Day, to speak to the gender significance of what took place at the Cave Hill campus. We mustn't speak glibly about students, as if students do not have specific identities. The majority of the students at Cave Hill were female. The majority of those females were matured women trying to put their lives together for the future. At least half of them were women with children. Most of them unmarried, working class mothers. If you analyze that circumstance, therefore, and in every Caribbean society, the most vulnerable citizens are unmarried, working class mothers. And therefore, those who were driven out of the KFL campus were largely unmarried, working class mothers, the most vulnerable citizens in our society. This is how we must analyze this circumstance so that the increase in enrollment described by the principal in her report will surely reflect once again the rise of these women determined to establish their security in the future. The principal clearly understands all of this as a leader who has paid attention to these aspects of social development. I wish to commend her also for her Smart Campus initiative, which is now finding expression, as she has reported, around the Sagicor complex, which has evolved into an innovation and development center of this campus, constituting a new ecosystem for Barbados. This is where many of the ideas, many of the models and the concepts will emerge in order to identify what the new Barbados economy will look like or should look like in the next 10 years or so. I commend her also for embracing the software engineering program that has enabled our students to go off to China to be the first cohort of a generation of software engineers that will restructure and modernize the Caribbean economy. I take this opportunity to thank Sagicor for its provision not only of the building that will be a smart campus site in and of itself, but for the scholarships they have provided to these students who are in China as pioneers of the digital transformation of the Caribbean. And so we give thanks to Mr. Doldridge Miller, Mr. Rafi Ranbaran, and Mr. Ed Clark, who is here, for the provision of these material and financial resources. They will be happy to know that yesterday I received a report that in China, in the Jiangsu province where our students are located, that the province has provided bursaries to the UWI students to the tune of $2,000 per student to enable them to take full advantage of their time in China, to visit other universities, to visit other campuses, to visit the technology parks around China, so that when they complete their studies, they would have experienced the economic transformation of China firsthand. So I will be sending a letter to thank the province of Jiangsu for identifying our students as Caribbean pioneers. It is important also to call, as the principal has done, for full support for this program by the other governments of the region. This is a unique opportunity. We all know that the digital transformation of the Caribbean is its future. This is the first program of its kind, and it's a global program. And it's a program that all governments ought to support, and we have written to all governments to ensure that they send a cohort of students into this program. I know there's always concern about, will they return home to participate in the transformation? I believe that they will, and I believe they should be bonded. I believe they should be bonded to serve their countries for a number of years, having received this kind of investment. I commend the principal also for her Ghana initiative in respect of medical sciences. This is new and innovative within the university system, where we have been able to identify a niche within the global possibility to take advantage of that, to globalize the university, and at the same time to bring revenue into the campus. And I commend the principal for her initiative. And I know she pursued this with tremendous aggression. I am aware of this. About 3 weeks ago, I was at a UNESCO meeting in Paris, and the Vice Chancellor came to me and said, just tell the principal it's going to be okay. It is going to be okay. And I felt in his voice an anxiety that he was under pressure.
Yeah.
But we should also thank the government of Barbados for stabilizing the conversation around the financial crisis of this campus and this university. I cannot thank the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance enough for meeting with this university, the leadership of the campus and the university, sitting with us to work through the details surrounding the arrears that have been owed to this campus and university for a decade, and to work through a strategy that has given us tremendous comfort and satisfaction that resources will be provided in an ethical and strategic fashion. So I would like the record to show that the university is extremely grateful for the sense of security and certainty that has returned to the affairs of this campus and the University of the West Indies. KPhil has been a critical part of the global agenda of our university. We set out a few years ago to globalize this university, to make it an international university, competitive in the global environment. There are 28,000 universities out there, and we were determined to get into the fray and to find our way in a very competitive fashion. We set out to re-engineer the university. We said that the 20th century UWI is now obsolete. We are going to build a 21st century UWI. And so we have established centers in New York in conjunction, in partnership with the State University of New York. We now have a UWI center in Manhattan, the UWI SUNY Institute for Sustainable Development. And you'll be happy to know, Principal and Chairman, just last week, the State Board of New York approved the curriculum that we have asked to be delivered online, a certificate program in climate smart studies to be delivered in the US by the UWI. And that program has now been approved. We've established here on this campus the UWI Johannesburg Institute for Global Africa. And I wish to thank you, Principal, again for your leadership in this regard, and Professor Cobley, because, you know, we in the Caribbean made a tremendous investment in the liberation of Africa in the 20th century. We Pan-Africanists, our governments, our leaders, brought down the apartheid regime. We promoted democracy. We made, as a people, a tremendous investment in Africa's emergence. It is now for us to consolidate that relationship for the 21st century. We've established our center at the University of Nigeria in Lagos. So there is now a UWI Institute for Africa and Diaspora Studies in Lagos. So now we are in New York, we are in South Africa, we are in Nigeria, and we are in China. And there are 3 institutes that will come on stream in the next 2 to 3 weeks. We have established now an agreement, our center in Colombia, the UWI Institute for Latin American Studies in Colombia, that has now been discussed, and we will be signing the agreement to establish that center in the next 3 weeks. We have agreed to establish our center in Canada in order to establish and build a bond that is so rich and developmental between the Caribbean and Canada. So we will now have at Brock University the UWI Institute for Canada-Caribbean Relations. And Canada, you know, is so very important to Caribbean development. And finally, our center in the UK with the University of Coventry. And so we are now everywhere, which is what we have set out to do. We are now everywhere except for Greenland. And since our vision says we will be on every continent, I have told my colleagues they can go to Greenland if they wish, and they can send me an email. So we are now everywhere. The principal chairman will also be pleased, and members of council, that the International Association of Universities, the research arm of UNESCO in Paris, has selected the University of the West Indies out of a team of over 150 universities to lead the world on climate smart studies and climate smart action. So we are now the university with responsibility for Sustainable Development Goal 13. And we will now put together a cluster of universities to be led by UWI, to be the voice of advocacy and research around Sustainable Development Goal 13. And this has to do a great deal with the research of this campus, the historic work of CERMES, and how our colleagues were a part of Vice President Gore's Nobel laureate. From that moment to the current moment, as you all know, the jingle 1.5 to stay alive has emerged out of UWI's research, and the world has recognized that. And now the principal will be taking all of this in order to drive the blue economy discourse here in Barbados. I join with you in celebrating our students, not only in their successes on the field of play and all of the various environments, but also the fact that our students are emerging as the leaders, the leadership of a new generation of Caribbean sports. We do not take for granted that the leadership of West Indies cricket has emerged out of Cape Hill campus. We do not take that for granted. That young Jason Holder and Carlos Brathwaite and Craig Brathwaite and all of these young men who are creating a new vision for the leadership of cricket and bringing us back where we ought to be have emerged out of this campus, and we celebrate the Faculty of Sport for providing the environment to enable these young men to perform, and of course our young women. I give support to the principal's proposal to establish a Faculty of Culture, Creative and the Performing Arts. This is an innovative idea. It is a logical response to the circumstance in the humanities and in the campus on the whole. And I look forward to participating in helping to move this proposal to implementation. I think it's an idea whose time has come. With respect to the rankings of our university as the #1 university in the Caribbean, and in the top 3% of the 2,000 universities in Latin America, and in the top 5% of the best 28,000 universities in the world. This is a tribute not only to the traditions of leadership of this institution, it is also the result of the work that has been done by the principals and the pro-vice chancellors and all of us as a family in recent years. And I say this because you'll be happy to know that of the 5 pillars on which we were ranked by the Times Higher, on the 5 pillars on which we were ranked competitively, we receive our highest mark in the area of our global vision and our global strategy. And it's precisely because we have been able to put the global vision in place, implement it, do it, and show it to be effective, that we got our highest grade on that pillar, which helped to pull our average up in areas where we were not as strong as we would have wished. So we are moving, colleagues, in the right direction, And if I may say this on behalf of the principal and all members here of council, I can conclude by making two statements. Our principal has provided excellent leadership to this campus within the year in review, and she must be commended for it. And at the same time, I can say to you categorically that the reputation of this university, the international, global, regional reputation of the UWI has never been higher. I thank you.
Vice Chancellor, I think we all join in thanking you for your wonderful remarks, your words of inspiration, and your leadership. And I think members, ministers, everyone present, we should offer another round of applause for the Vice Chancellor, for the Principal, for the Deans, for all of those present. And of course, as we bring the live stream internet audience to a close, before doing so, I personally would like to recognize the fact that today is International Women's Day, and to go on record of supporting all the remarks that have been made. I did not recognize our permanent secretary, who is a graduate and of course a woman in today's day's celebration. So for all women here, for all those present, I would again like to thank the audience, live stream audience, for participating, and thank you all.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this program. Remember, you can watch this and all our programs on our website, www.uitv.org, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device. Also, join the conversation on social media by visiting our Facebook